Melanie Brochet, and I'll be your moderator for this amazing panel. So I gotta ask you, are you excited? Are you ready for me to bring up our next two? Oh, yeah! You know what? That man knows what's going on. Can we bring to the stage Mr. Kit Harington and Miss Emilia Clarke? They pumped me up. So, I know you have so many things to sign and so many pictures to take.
Yes, we do.
How are you both doing? Like, you're meeting all of the fans.
It's so wonderful. It's so wonderful. Everyone is so lovely.
You're lovely!
So nice. How can it not be anything other than brilliant?
Yeah, it's been awesome. You guys are awesome.
All right, so we got to start off with the low-hanging fruit. Jon Snow. Daenerys Targaryen. You know, your characters have become memes, catchphrases. They have been written into other comedies, TV shows, movies. Like, literally someone just, in a movie I watched the other day, no, you can call me Queen, Mother of Dragons. And I was like, wow, they are truly a phenomenon that has made this lasting imprint on pop culture. What has life been like this phase after Game of Thrones? And you know, for you, what's the most exciting part of this phase? Because neither one of you have stopped working.
We've been very lucky. We've been very lucky. It's been. So when you're in it, you don't know what it is. You can't even begin to quantify what it is or what it means, partly because we were tiny babies who were just really pleased to be employed. Just like trying to have a good time and not mess it up. And then after the fact, it just, the more time that goes on, the older you get, you start to appreciate it with distance. So for me, I can see what it was and the impact and feel nothing but like, wow, that was brilliant. But I personally always have a big separation between me and Khaleesi, between me and the show, because I never felt like I always feel like I was a small cog in a huge, amazing, beautiful wheel that existed before the TV show. Like, we didn't write it. You know, like I didn't create the Mother of Dragons, I just had the privilege of being able to play her. So as I get older and I see it lasting still, it just sort of blows my mind. But not in a way that's like it was before where I couldn't see it.
Right there. Talk about a big, wide, huge universe of characters and actors. You know, what's it been like joining this family?
I think like just on follow-up from the last question, we were in a show that was in a really specific moment in TV, I think. And since it's finished, that's become more apparent that it existed at a moment when TV was at its height and it seemed to take up a large portion of the attention. And now there's so much more on that I feel we were very, in a moment in time with that show, which was quite a blessed moment in time for us. And at the same time, you had this other Goliath, which was on the big screen, which in some ways was running in tandem with our TV show, which was Marvel, which was doing the same thing. It was huge. It was in many ways, keeping the cinema afloat. It was just, and so I think I don't know how you feel, but in an interesting way, it felt like graduating to something else.
Yes.
And it's an amazing thing to be part of, to go from that one special event into a different special event that you've been watching from the side.
Marvel don't need me. Like, do you know what I mean? They're like, good. I get to join the party when it is like hot.
The table is set.
The table is set.
The bar is like an hour in.
There are kings and queens that exist forever in that, and I don't know about you, but I feel a little bit like, okay, so what's up? This is fun. What's happening? Like, it's kind of
there.
It feels relaxed in a way that Game of Thrones felt like survival.
Literally.
Literally. Very much. So I have the privilege of being Talus's daughter. The remarkable Ben Mendelsohn is my dad, and just aside from this person sitting right here, one of the favourite actors I've ever worked with, amazing. And she's kind of punky. She's kind of rebellious.
I kind of love her. She's kind of amazing.
she's got like an edge to her that I'm really, really enjoying playing in a way that she has what I would like to think most of my characters I get to play have, which is a huge amount of empathy for people, but it's not her immediate go-to. It's kind of been like beaten out of her because she's been raised by a military man. She's been raised in a military family. She has military training. It's very, everything, there's no soft edges with her.
I think a lot of people forget that her dad was a general.
A general, exactly. So she was raised in the environment of like an army brat. Like she knows how to take care of herself.
Like most folks, it was a huge bomb in these post-credit scenes that we usually get, but this one was pretty unique because you're Black Knight. Well, are you Black Knight? I don't know. I don't know. No, that was not a confirmation. Are you? Are you not? Maybe?
The honest answer is, I think that's the intention with the character. I think there was some misunderstanding about whether he was going to be in the Blade movie. He was never meant to be in the Blade movie, and isn't. But at this stage, I don't know. At this stage, I hope he gets used. I think there's some really fascinating parts of that character which would be beneficial to delve into and interesting, which is the aspects around his kind of mental health things and specifically about addiction with that character, which I think is really interesting. So I hope they use him. I hope that the Black Knight comes along. I hope that Dane Whitman is that character. At this stage, I can't tell you anything. But I think the intention is to develop him at some point. Yeah.
I just wanted to do everything, clearly, and I had the incredible luck of being able to do so many different roles. But my characters need to have agency. I think that's something that I like to see through, a good arc within the kind of development of that character, kind of the discovery of self-agency being maybe one of them. But as I've gotten older, the single thing that I really try to align myself with is the filmmaker. Is like the thing you're walking into. What is your day-to-day experience going to be? Because life is too short to wake up and not want to go to work. You know what I mean?
You now have 2 small children in your home.
Yeah, a boy and a girl. Yeah. It's amazing. She's just beautiful.
She's a week old, and
she's a week and a half old, and she's just and my boy's doing really, really well with it. He's being a good big brother. He's it's as anyone who has kids, and especially multiple kids knows, it's exhausting. Already absolutely bone-crunchingly knackering, but filled with, it's all the oxymorons. It's like fear and joy, it's all of those different feelings all at the same time. It's amazing. I'm loving it. Rose is doing really well. We're very, very happy.
What was your guys' favorite part about working with each other, and are there any plans to work together again? Y'all ask questions I don't have to ask. Thank you.
The best bit. I mean, it was because we were friends.
Yeah.
Before, like we hung out. We were buddies before we ever did anything on camera. camera. I remember the first day when we shot on camera, and we just couldn't stop laughing. We were like, this is a bit weird. What are you in your costume for?
It's so weird seeing you in costume.
Yeah, that was the strangest thing. I was like, I can't take it seriously.
Yeah.
It was a very serious scene.
It was weird. I remember that distinctly. Like season 7, we'd spent 6 years as friends and friends off set, and like seeing each other only in costume, really on like photo shoots or on screen, and then suddenly stepping on as these two like characters that had somehow gone into this big show and become this big thing. Like, this isn't like, we're just little Brits.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
But then I remember that
Literally
first...
little Brits, like it's
Yes.
little Brits.
Yeah. But then I remember one of the first scenes, we were stood in front of the fire, we were having a debate. It was before our characters had romantically been linked. And I remember being like, oh, this is nice. This is like, he's really good. And I know him. This is easy. This is really... And it just kind of... But I do remember the day, our sex scene day, and my brother was in the camera department that
Did you
day.
say your sexy day?
No, our sex scene. Sorry, yeah, our sex.
Oh no, I love it. No, I think
Okay,
sexy
we
day
got
is the
sex.
perfect way to say it.
And my brother's in the camera department, and he was on set that day, and
Yeah.
he came and said, "You're like, hey, you're walking out of here." He's not allowed to
Keep him busy.
Yeah.
Oh, mortifying. We have Sari Moscato from Cleveland, Ohio. For both of you, other than a wolf or a dragon, if you yourself had an animal helper in real life, what species would each of you choose can be mythical?
Mythical.
Yeah, so unicorns were up for the taking.
I always like pandas. I did. I always had little pandas. As a kid, I had little pandas, so I've got a thing for pandas. So I think I'd have a panda.
I can totally see that.
Yeah.
Hey kid, hey panda. Yeah. Just have like a backyard full of, bamboo, and
That's it.
and it gets to roam.
They're wicked creatures. They're desperately trying to extinct themselves, which I kind of love.
They just don't want to have sex.
They don't want to have sex.
I feel like I have a spirit animal that I think he exists.
Okay.
His name is Ted.
Okay.
He's a little tiny miniature dachshund, and he's my baby. So yeah, and I genuinely, like, the older that he gets, the
Yeah.
more I'm like,
Yeah, we're the
you're my
same.
spirit animal.
Yeah, we're the
It's
same.
generally the same thing.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. I have a golden doodle, and his name is Dumas, and it's the same thing. So, Andressa from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, for Kit. I would like to ask Kit if there's a role or a specific type of character he wants to play, or because I feel like you've answered the first one, what is the hardest part of being an actor?
I'll just go with that second one. The hardest part of being an actor is our heads. I don't think
They're too big.
They're too big. They're hard to carry around. I think every actor I know worth their salt beats themselves up in their head all the time. Like, I think that our job is to come out here and look really ultra confident, and like that we are, and that's our job on set, is to walk on set and convince you that we're completely confident in these characters. But we're a whole heaving mass of anxiety and self-doubt and all of those things. And I think that when someone sort of says to me they want to be an actor, that's what I'm looking for in them. Is like, are you a heaving mass of self-doubt?
Yeah.
Because you're sort of in the same way with the superheroes battling against, not comparing actors to superheroes. Maybe
Yes, you are.
I am. I'm going to go for it. That they're fighting, their superpowers fighting against the thing. I think that's what you're battling against as an actor. Is that you've always been socially self-conscious, and the way you found to deal with that is to step up on stage and speak, or to step in front of camera, whatever you do. So I think the hardest thing about being an actor is that we're wrapped up in our own heads like crazy, and it drives us mad.
Khaleesi.
Yes.
Kelly Clark. She's gonna correct me later. So it's actually, her name is Marcy Furtado from Para, Brazil. My question is for Emilia. What most struck her about the character of Gaia to want to play her?
Oh my goodness. She just felt real. She just felt real in a very real, grounded show that kind of talked about things that, I mean, the joy of doing anything fantasy, the joy of reading any fantastical or like magic realism narrative is that it's a way of looking at bigger issues in the world, problems you face, philosophical ideas in its own space that allows us to see the problem for what it is and really digest it, because it's not, you're not reading about yourself. Does that make sense?
You're able to step into almost a parable.
Exactly that. And this show feels like that so much. And then also Samuel L. Jackson. You know what I mean? What I like about Gaia, I like the Samuel L. Jackson part of it.
Last question. Yep, last question. Elena Collins from Houston, Texas. Got in with Texas. For both of you, how did your experience on a big production like Game of Thrones help prepare you for what to expect on a Marvel set? And also, what was different than what you expected?
I feel like, I don't know about you, but the films that I did in between this series of Game of Thrones, they'd be like, now this isn't TV, it's gonna feel really different, and I'm like, I mean, sure. And I'd get there and be like, guess what? Mine's bigger. I mean, it's actually like we're shooting 10 of these films every single season.
Yeah.
Like that's what it is. So I feel like it prepared, I don't know, this scale prepared me for pretty much every job I've ever done since.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my Marvel experience is not as long as Emilia's. It was a bit of a Marvel movie, but in that time on that Marvel movie, just experiencing quite what they were able to do, in as much as shut down Camden for a whole 2 nights or something.
Yeah, because that scene was big,
Yeah.
and it had to take an army.
Yeah, and that was one of their 10 movies they were making at that time. That gave me an idea of the scale and scope of it. But I have to agree with Emilia. One thing that Thrones maybe in some ways it's a slight kind of curse, because we spent 10 years on a show that was as big as any movie I think I'll ever do. And it sort of gave me, in a strange way, a skewed experience of what movies and TV were, because there was nothing bigger than Thrones as far as set builds and the world they created, and it was genuinely humongous.
Like, try and think of, could you ever think of doing a movie that is anywhere close to being as big as Battle of the Bastards?
Yeah, or what they
That
built
was
in
like-
the final season, the
Oh my
set
God, yeah.
of King's Landing.
Yeah.
I've never seen a set like that.
No.
And I don't think there's anything, I haven't obviously been on loads of Marvel sets. I'm sure that they're just as big, but I can't imagine they'd be bigger than that set.
Marvel just have bigger movie stars. You know what I mean? That's what's the biggest difference. You're like,
Big old movie stars.
fangirling every day.
Hey everybody, day 2 at Superhero and Comic Con in San Antonio. I'm going to take you guys around the exhibit hall real quick, just kind of show you how massive this is. The car show is actually in a separate building. I just left the Freeman Coliseum, where they had about 2,000 people in for the Q&A with Kit Harington and Emilia Clarke. So there are 3 separate buildings where this show is taking place, and it's pretty massive. So let me take you around and show you the exhibit hall. All right, so we have the first exhibit hall here, which is, they've got a lot of the artwork that is, go ahead. They have a lot of the artwork that is showcased in this first hall, separate from, and they have the artists lined up on the right. So this is a little bit segmented, the Comic-Con by the artists. And a lot of great artwork. And it just keeps going and going. So we'll take you up to the stage where this was a smaller stage where some of the smaller artists. It looks like at noon we have Ming-Na Wen from the Mandalorian. She plays Fennec Shand. She will be on this smaller stage here. They had Elizabeth Olsen in the Coliseum yesterday. She looked like she had a couple of thousand people lined up to go see her. So this is the stage for some of the smaller celebrities that are here. Sees a couple hundred people, and then we're gonna walk into the second hall here, which looks like we have Cad Bane and a lot of cosplay going on here this year. Okay. So this is where they have a lot of the collectibles. Again, it's a massive hall. There's a food court over here. One of the things that's really cool about this event, they have a lot of creative ways for what people eat and drink. They have a place called Wild Bill's Old-Fashioned Soda Pop, so you can buy a stein or a mug for the whole weekend, the 3 days, and then you don't have to really go back and pay again. You just keep getting refills, and it's got orange cream soda, root beer, vanilla cream, lots of the traditional soda pop drinks. Really cool. You don't have to wait. You can go get a drink anytime. And then this is a lot of the collectibles that we have going on here. And, it just goes on and on and on. They did a really great job with this con here. This artist here has these posters that I told him they had not put Rey in here. This poster would have been a lot better. You've got Luke versus Vader, Obi-Wan versus Anakin, and that's all great until you get to the third image, which is Rey, and that ruins it. So he laughed when I told him that. You see a lot of these collectible spaces are trying to weed out their Funko Pops. They're almost giving them away. So I don't know that we're going to see Funko Pops very much longer. But there's not a lot of you have to find the traditional collectibles, like Star Wars collectibles. You have to kind of find those. A lot of this stuff is newer stuff that, doesn't have obviously a lot of value yet. So you kind of have to find some of the booths that have some of the traditional Star Wars stuff or anything else that would have value. They're hidden in here, but they're here. You just have to find them. And one of the things that's really cool is the free play arcade. So this is the, we'll loop back around here, show you just a couple more things before we head over to the car show. A lot of the comic sections in the back of the convention space if you're a comic fan. But yeah, it's a lot more packed today. A lot of people obviously were working yesterday on Friday, so on Saturday, the convention hall is packed, as you can see. And there's Peacemaker. And really great event. Over here is the photo op and autograph lines that have been sold out. Pretty much every major celebrity is sold out. So just wanted to check in with you guys and show you the exhibit hall and the space. It's been a really great event put on here in San Antonio, and we'll check back with you guys later. TCB. We've got Kit from Knight Rider. We've got a DeLorean from Back to the Future.
That's the actual one?
That's the actual one. Not the actual one, but
Yeah,
yeah.
We've got the Ninja Turtles. Man, pretty cool. Good humor, ice cream. These Ninja Turtles are good eating. Cool. Oh, we've got the A-Team 1984 Chevy van. the Blues Brothers, the Bluesmobile. Richard Petty. So this is where some of the bands have been playing. They have a Beatles tribute band. This is a 60s Mania band.
I've seen different people with different artwork.
Is this a Flintstones? Yeah. Pretty cool. Flintstones Flintmobile. Tony Stewart. Toretto's Roadrunner. Come on now, we got Dale Jr. Back when that logo was popular. Look at this. The Green Hornet. The Ghostmobile. Speed Racer. We've got Optimus Prime. Let's check out Optimus Prime.
I knew it. We have a
So we've got Optimus, the 18-wheeler. Pretty cool. We've got Bumblebee. We've got Lightning McQueen. Can't get over that Speed Racer car. How cool. I haven't seen a Speed Racer car in a while. We've got the Mystery Machine. And let's go over here and see Batman. Batman has his own section. There's like 4 buildings that are connected to this Comic-Con, and every building has something different in it. So here you go. Here's the 1966 Batmobile with Adam West. Pretty cool. Then we've got the classic Michael Keaton, 1989, which is based on a 95 Chevrolet Caprice. Pretty cool. That's it, everybody. Good stuff. Oh, you know what? I didn't cover from Grease. We've got Grease Lightning. So let's check that out real quick before we're done. So we've got Grease Lightning. Look at the interior of this. Pretty cool. Clear hood. 1948 Ford Deluxe convertible. Grease Lightning. Pretty cool. All right, everybody. All right, everybody. Day 2 at Superhero and Comic-Con in San Antonio is a wrap. We had a Q&A with Emilia Clarke at Harington today. A lot of stuff in the exhibit halls, different artists giving interviews, and then we wrapped up with photo ops with Andrew Garfield and Elizabeth Olsen. And so day 2 is a wrap. TCB.